Hey, what's up, guys? Gavin Peacock here from FlippedSociety. Okay, guys, this is going to be the start of video 4, the finalizing of editing, all the super fine tuning. And I just want to briefly touch upon the idea of song lengthening or song or track cutting. And I'll zoom in again, 365 Days of Awesome. I always bring this up because it's got all of these tactics and techniques used inside one project. It's such a large thing, I end up tending to employ them all. So I'm just going to zoom in now to the very beginning that I've used before in these pieces. Where the heck are we going here? Come on down. Okay, so you can see my song here throughout the whole 7-minute video. I've used the exact same song. We have a running time of, where are we at there? 6:09, but if I go to the original track, we see that this runs just 5:58. So somewhere in here I've done some cutting and lengthened the beat with a seamless edit using Razor tool. I'm going to zoom in here to the very beginning, and I think this is where I did it. You can see here all these super fast cuts are those quick opener teaser clips to the video. Underneath is this super distinct waveform beat that was easy to copy to. I've matched boom, 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 each one up to match on beat style edit cut there. And I had, from my super rough copy to my cut down to the best of the best clips, I had more clips that I wanted to use than I had peaks in this beat. This is the original waveform up here. You can see there's a ton of those peaks still, but I was about 6 or 7 short. So what I did down here, super secret of me, is done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts. 6 cuts before the real beat started up. And inside those 6 cuts, I've extended this waveform by a few peaks. And I'm going to show you. I'm just going to take this as an idea here. Copy it. Let's go way down to the end to get out of the way of this stuff. Boom. Okay, so let's say we had all these clips lined up, but we still had 4 more clips we wanted to use. What you would do there is zoom all the way in. Okay, and Razor, hopefully, right on this beat. You'd Razor tool on this beat, click, click. Okay, we'd extend the original track out. We're not going to worry about this part yet. I'm going to extend this out. Oh, there you can see it's already ended. So if I started that on the first clip, don't worry about your zoom quite yet. I extended this out. What do we got for audio here? 2 more blips. I'm going to stop that there. You can see when we drag this over, okay, we can make a fake beat here based off of 2 halves of the same track. So we've now given ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4 clips, extra footage. Let's delete this and pretend it wasn't there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This quite, if I play this right now, it's going to sound awful with a little double blip. See it with the eyes, you're certainly going to hear it with your ears. So let's play this. That thick beat there. Not good. Okay, so we're going to zoom into this, and it's just a matter of fine tuning. So this is the start. It's missing its, I guess, the front crest of this beat. So I'm going to use the front half of this one. And again, we're down onto single frame, so sometimes the waveform doesn't match up to the actual frame. But again, I mentioned before, if you're dealing with a single frame edit, you usually won't detect the beat. And you can always utilize a little bit of a crossfade like I did when I realized this clip wouldn't quite match up to get everything going. So here now, if I just drag everything over, we've kind of simulated a new fake beat. That should be enough to make it sound pretty seamless. Good. So the little background tone is a little off, but good example of the main beat, how you can just start to match tracks out. And if I need to make this really drastic, right, if I need a lot of clips to fit still, you can always go way back, drag this track out super far and find another peak in here. As long as you find the right 2 parts of a song, typically when you look at a song reveal in project, if there's an initial beat, that sometimes and usually will repeat itself somewhere further down the track. So you could take this 6-minute song, use 3 minutes of it find the same point here that is in the beginning and link those two sections together to make a 6 to 9 minute song. I find it's always the case of trying to lengthen music just to squeeze in a little more footage. It's rare you have to cut down footage, but that's what I'm going to segue to next, which is I call backwards editing, where you're, instead of now laying a clip from start to end like so, just working to the beat, filling a song all the way up towards the end, we want to utilize the end of a clip. We want this clip to finish on the very end, so therefore we're matching clips backwards here and working on a timeline backwards to fill up from the end of a song to the beginning of a song. Good. I got this long fade out. I may not need it all. Okay, I want to start the fade out right on that cut. There we go. And then I want this to be faded out by the time we're done. Okay, so this is my super important last clip. It's the only one I care about. I want that to match the time, and everything here is going to be fluffer working backwards. So if I play this now, this is going to be very rough because I'm just throwing these out here, but you get the point. And I guess we want this reversed. Okay, so there's the fade out. I know that's perfect. Whoops. Get me all the way down here. Okay, and now I'm worried about the matching of these guys all the way back. So I know I missed the beat a little bit because I just slapped those in there. So I use it's called the rolling edit tool. It will take both of these clips and just shorten one and lengthen the other to bring you to the nearest beat, whatever you're trying to do. And now that you're in your final cut down, you know you can probably afford 2 or 3 frames on either side of something that's not going to be a drastic different image than what the actual cut is here. Sometimes there's a hand that goes in front of the screen, or you do a little shake, and you'll be able to just trim that out. So if you do use this rolling edit, sometimes you expose those little bumps and you'll have to go over again. That's in the fine tuning here of constantly watching clips back to look for those blips, shakes, and anything that might be changed from this style of rolling edit tool. So I'll do it again. So here, here's the beat. I'm slightly off, so I'm just going to adjust that clip. Here I'm slightly off. Going to adjust that clip. Adjust that clip. And you just do this all the way down. And again, definitely watch it over once or twice to make sure nothing has changed. Boom. That's a double beat. I know because it was a longer time-lapse shot. So I used 2 beats to cover that. Down here the same. I won't do them all, but you get the point. So if I play this back now, boom, 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 go. Everything's on beat, working towards that final clip, all as well. So just scrolling over here to my real finish, you can see I did that same section of the song and lined it up to the time lapse of the sun setting. Get this good visual closure on a video edit, and then I use that to pan up into the Oakley shot with no audio as the final tribute. Full speed here. All the sundown shots at the very end of the clip. And good. So I would have utilized that same technique. I would have lined up that sun time lapse, and I would work backwards to the beats. Boom, 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 boom. Adjusting clips all the way back to my last splice, which sometimes is really far. And that was right here. A little forward backwards. Sometimes you're editing to the length of a song. Sometimes you don't have enough clips to get there, so you're going to have to cut out big sections and blend the waveform. And the last thing, guys, here, I deleted this at the beginning. If your beats just quite aren't lining up, they just quite don't sound the same, you can always use a audio cross dissolve. Where am I fix here? Audio transition, crossfade, constant power is always the same. You can put that in there to blend this track into this one a little bit more. You usually make these very short. I'll make this just 15 frames long, which is 1/4 of a second. And that, after all the other stuff with the eraser tool, usually is enough to... So maybe that's too long still. Usually is enough to make that sound pretty seamless. 8 frames. That was better. That's all it took there. 8 frames difference. Now you don't hear that little double blip. Perfect. Good to go. All right. Moving on to super zoom mode on fine-tuning clips. And I caught myself even in the last video finding a beat here that wasn't lined up to the track, so we're going to get into that right now. Okay guys, so the last thing I'm going to talk about in the finalizing of editing part 4 before we get into the clip enhancing, which is making them look a little better than they are, is going to be just the super fine tuning. Our process from video 1 has been starting from our mega raw clips here, all of them. Again, in 365 Days of Awesome, I have thousands of clips inside this bin right now. We've got them into our rough timeline as super rough clips. Okay, super rough. We've looked at each one. We started to trim them down a little bit more, just what we wanted, and we've worked them into a final cut that is pretty much more or less matched up to the beat as we've been going here. Okay, so we're sitting at 85% finished before we can export this video into a final movie file to watch in real time. So now what we're going to do is just take one last pass over the whole video. Let's just ignore this. This is all my graphic opening. We're not going to be touching on that for this basic how to edit video series, but we're going to scan over. I mentioned everything is like putting on layers of paint on a wall. We're now on like our 4th or 5th or 6th pass over of paint. We're going down looking for the super minor fine details, and all I'm going to mention is the super zoom mode here. So I can use my little scroll cursor down here to zoom into the track. I'm going to go as far in as I can. Okay, and now when we see the waveform beats, they're going to be, oh god, let's not go this far in. Go this far for now. Okay, so we're super zoomed in and we're looking to see that all of our clips are lining up exactly to the beats. And I mentioned if you get all the way into just one frame zoom mode, this clip may not be able to adjust. This one did perfectly. You can see my cursor wants to jump. So sometimes it may not end up right on the peak of that beat in the waveform. But again, audio ear won't usually pick up 1/60th of a second mistake. So you can afford to be 2 or 3 frames off. But you get any more further outside that, you'll definitely start to pick up when we watch our super rough copy back in real time. You'll start to notice I'm going to shift my track by just a few frames, and you'll see the eye and the ear quite don't line up, and you know, where your brain knows something isn't quite linking up. And the difference of an amazing track edit versus a crap one could be literally just the difference of 4 frames of a clip not being lined up properly here. So I'm just going to show you a little scan through as I work these beats going through. Right there, I just saw one. Where's that sucker? So right here, right off the bat, that's a shifted clip. I should have moved those over like so. Sometimes I'll use the rolling edit tool, like I just talked about, moving these back over the peaks. I can really zoom in here. You can just use the cursor, just drag one clip and the other. Go to the next one. Yeah, something happened earlier. These are all shifted by a little bit. Like so. Move it down. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I don't save over this file because something is off, but you can see this is exactly what you'd be doing. From this zoom, you'd see all these clips being perfectly on the beat, right? You might have been spending your whole time editing at whatever zoom ratio this was, and now if we go underneath the microscope and you're noticing all your clips are slightly off. So that's the difference, like I mentioned in the beginning. Those small details that'll make or break the super high quality of a video edit without getting into any magic crazy filtering or layering or masking or effects inside a video track. So there you go. Let's move on to part 5 is going to be footage enhancing, and we're going to employ the KISS rule, keeping it simple, stupid, not getting anything crazy, using the most basic elements to make a clip look better.